It's YouTube Wednesday! I have to make some bracers as an armor piece for my arm, so I thought I would show you guys how I would go about making a pattern for that to make sure that they fit. Obviously a rectangle wouldn't be good because my arm is skinnier here and thicker up here. I happen to have very big forearms, so you want something that's going to fit. And this is a great little way to make a pattern. I have aluminum foil. Now, I'm doing this on my forearm, but this could be done, of course, anywhere that you need to pattern something. I like the foil because it helps with the shaping of it. And I don't care if it's crumply, because my foil isn't my final pattern, it's just something. Now that I'm all foiled, I'm going to take some masking tape or painter's tape, and I'm going to cover up all of this. Don't go so tight that you lose circulation. But you do want it to be pretty tight because you are making a pattern. I pull it out and then I let it relax when I go around my arm. Alright, that's good. Got about 1.5 layers on just for support. Now I'm going to take a Sharpie and I'm going to mark where I want my bracer to be. They're going to come together in the middle. I know that I want that. Come around that muscle group right there. I probably want it to ride right here. Here's my wrist bone, so I want to move my wrist up and down. I don't want it biting into that. I want it right behind that wrist bone. But I can put a little tab on the top. And now I'm using the camera like a mirror. Okay. All right. So that's that. I'm going to get some scissors, cut this off. Okay, I'm going to follow the line that I put in. That's a very simple bracer pattern. I want to write on it, bracer, so I know where in the body it goes, and I want to have it laced together, so I'm going to mark where those holes go. And I did one side, so I'm going to just match it on this side. Be about 1/2 inch in. You don't want to pull through your material. Whenever I'm trying to make something even, I do the top hole, the bottom hole, then I do the middle. It's easier to find out where the middle is if I have 2 points to guide myself. Okay. I'm going to transfer this to foam and cut. I do my design in marker. I'm just going over it. And you guys can see the difference between the line with the soldering iron and the line with the marker. There's just a lot more depth and it really pops it. So with the soldering iron, I'm just putting in a quick pattern here of alternating lines, which is just going to read like texture. I'm doing my lines basically the same way I would do brickwork. is what my basic bracer is going to look like while it's on. I'm going to go ahead and pop my holes through here now. Trying to make sure I breathe out during that process and not in. Now those holes I'm just going to touch from the other side to make sure they're just as thick through both sides. And that'll add a bit of melted material around the edge, which is good because it kind of thickens it and it'll keep string from pulling through and stuff. A little bit stronger on those holes. That's my basic detail. Now I'm going to do a little bit of finer detail. I'm just going to ring each of these holes now that they're in. Now you can go as detailed as you want in any design you want. I am going to embellish a little bit further just by filling in some triangle shapes into all of these darts that I have put into it. I think the important thing is just to keep your tool moving. If you stop for too long, it'll build up too much heat in one place and that area will look a little bit weird. Okay, now I have a heat gun. Get this guy plugged in. I'm going to heat the whole thing and then give it the curve I want to go around my arm. It'll hold that curve when it cools down. Alright, so that way this can cool and maintain its shape. Rubber bands will do the same thing. I'm just kind of curling it up like that so that these both tuck in. That should give me a nice tight curl on it. It's holding its shape now. And now with just a little bit of lacing, that's going to fit my arm pretty well. You know, those meet where I want them to meet. I have the movement that I want. I'm going to go just give this a coat of silver spray paint or gold spray paint, and I'll be right back. That's all I'm going to do to it. Now I have a piece of my scrap foil. I got a little bit of acrylic paint. I'm only using the scrap foil as a little bowl for me to put a little bit of paint in. Because while I don't mind using my table as a palette, paintbrush, and I think I just want to hit these details, these pieces. No, I'm going to do all of this, everything outside of those pieces I'm doing in this green. I've got that nice trench there, so it's easy to stay in the lines. Alright, so all that's going to get painted green is now green. I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to paint the other one. I'll be right back to you. Alright, I have my piece here, and of course I have some saddle tan. I'm going to get this puppy stained up. Whenever you're antiquing, make sure you get it deep down in the crevices. That's what's really going to sell the look. Now that I've got the stain everywhere it needs to be, I wipe it off. Before you stain it, after you stain it. It's just going to give a lot more rich look and aged. I still may go in and I might airbrush on the inside of this line to make this area here just feel more recessed. But I'm going to get this one caught up to that one. I just grabbed some shoelaces. These are going to be really long, and they won't be what I use at the end, but they'll do for a demo right now. I always start lacing at the wrist. I like to use cord locks that you slide onto over these cords, and you can just slide them up, and now I have got myself a bracer. There's a bracer right there. Quick and easy foam bracer. That is, you know, it's been stained and painted. A lot of people want to put a covering on it. They want to coat it. Normally I just paint it. Often I do not coat my foam armor and stuff. I like to just paint it the way as it is. You can spray it with balloon latex. You can spray it with Plastidip in order to give it a rubber coating. But I don't feel it adds it adds some durability, but it doesn't add a whole lot of use for me. So I skipped that step. But foam bracers, good for a season for sure. And you can see they would lace up, put a cord lock on here, tighten that button down, slide it up, and then tuck your laces up into here. If you lace from the back down, then you end up with strings hanging here, and that would get in the way of things you might want to try and do. Them hanging in the back is much better, but you can also still just tuck them up so that they come out all the way back here. You know, so you can keep tucking them if you have long strings, but just, you know, make the strings as long as they need to be. No more, no need. But good costume bracer. It's a set. Go make stuff.